Simple human sense.
Most of mid-Michigan still holding on to dry conditions this afternoon, but notice on satellite and radar we have a couple of sprinkles developing to our south and over toward the southeastern portion of the state as well. We'll hold on to the chance for these isolated sprinkles as we go throughout the next few hours. Temperature-wise, really impressive. 65 degrees in Lansing, 66 the current temperature in Jackson, Mason, and over in Charlotte. We will rise a few more degrees as we go throughout the rest of the afternoon. Cooler temperatures settle in tonight. They stick around for tomorrow as a rain and snow mix moves into the area. 6 News at noon starts right now.
WMMS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at noon.
Confusion continues today over the Trump administration's tariffs. At first, the White House said there would be exemptions, but now the president says that's not true. It's our top story at noon. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Megan Vaselli. The tariffs on Chinese imports are putting a strain on many American businesses that manufacture there. Natalie Brand introduces us to a small business owner based in Texas who imports lighting equipment from China and says this current tariff will put him out of business.
President Trump is meeting with El Salvador's president at the White House to discuss immigration.
I think he's doing a fantastic job and he's taking care of a lot of problems that we have.
It comes as the president's trade policy continues to unfold, with new questions about the tariff on some popular electronics from China, like iPhones. Administration officials say those goods are excluded from the 125% import tariff, but still subject to an earlier 20% tariff related to fentanyl. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer says those tech items will also be considered for separate national security-related tariffs with the goal of boosting manufacturing of semiconductors in the U.S.
It's shifting from one bucket of tariffs to a different bucket of potential tariffs.
You have to have a certain flexibility.
Small businesses in the U.S. are pleading for flexibility as they face the full 145% tariff on imports from China.
Small businesses like mine are marginalized and left to bear the burden of this and to see our families suffer.
Ralph Bradley is the owner of a Texas-based company that imports lighting equipment for items including trailers, RVs, and farm equipment. His father started a joint venture in the early 90s with a family-owned company in China that makes the products.
We have a great relationship with them and are scared about not just our business being in detriment, but what happens to their business and their families.
Trump administration officials say negotiations with China will happen between Presidents Trump and Xi, but so far talks have not been scheduled. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, Ukraine continues to fight for its homeland, and President Volodymyr Zelensky talked with 60 Minutes last night. He says he invited President Trump to Ukraine to see how Russia's unprovoked invasion continues to threaten the peace of the Western world.
Before any kind of decisions, any kind of formats of negotiations come, to see people, civilians, warriors, hospitals, churches, children destroyed or dead, come, look, and then let's move with a plan how to finish the war.
A White House official met with Vladimir Putin in Russia this past Friday to discuss a possible peace deal. 6 News is your local election headquarters, and today Republican Mike Rogers announced his campaign for the 2026 ballot, marking the former congressman's second bid to the U.S. Senate. He ran in 2024 when Senator Debbie Stabenow announced her retirement. Rogers won the Republican primary but lost in November to Democratic Senator Elissa Slotkin. Now the other Senate seat will open in 2026 after current Democratic Senator Gary Peters announced he's stepping down. Rogers is described in his campaign announcement as a conservative fighter with a proven track record of delivering for Michigan. Lansing City Council President Ryan Cost will officially present a plan to fellow council members today focused on holding landlords accountable. Current city law deems any property given a red tag unsafe to live in. Cost shared with 6 News the 2 draft ordinances he'll present to council. The first requires landlords to obtain an insurance rider to cover the cost of housing for tenants if their rental gets red tagged. The second would require landlords without insurance riders to pay the city fees in order to house the tenant in a hotel for up to 30 days. Stay with 6 News for updates. Thousands of acres of state forest damaged in northern Michigan in the aftermath of last month's severe ice storm. And the Michigan Department of Natural Resources just released aerial images showing the extent of the damage. Take a look. The ice storm impacted nearly 920,000 acres of state forest land, according to the DNR's Forest Resources Division. The chief of that division, who has worked for the state for 39 years, says he's never seen anything like it. Drone flyover assessments started last Tuesday, showing extensive damage to Pigeon River Country State Forest, known as Michigan's Big Wild. Video shows a plantation of red pines reduced to stick-like figures after heavy ice snapped the tops off of hundreds of trees. Tomorrow is tax day, and the IRS is giving you until 11:59 Tuesday night to file. If you haven't done it yet and don't think you'll be able to do so in time, you'll need to get an extension. Now, that request also due by tomorrow night. Here's a quick look at what you need to know. A normal federal tax return extension gives taxpayers 6 extra months to file after the April 15th deadline. That makes the new date October 15th. The most common way to request an extension is to file either an online or paper version of IRS Form 4868. Remember, though, the extension only applies to the paperwork and not the money you owe the government. Average statewide gas prices finally fall after hitting a 2025 high. AAA says the average now sits at $3.07 per gallon of regular unleaded. That's still 7 cents more than this time last month, but 61 cents fewer than this time last year. Drivers in the greater Lansing area are paying just less than the statewide average at $3.04 per gallon, while drivers in Jackson are paying 2 cents more at $3.09.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
It is a beautiful start to the work week. Temperatures across the area already sitting in the mid-60s, but thanks to a cold front that we have just off to our west, they will begin to fall as we go throughout the rest of the day. But overall, we'll still hold on to dry and partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions across the area. We'll continue to see a mix of clouds and sun as we go throughout the rest of the day. We dry things out, mostly cloudy conditions remaining in place throughout the overnight hours, and then we're kind of in for a pretty big shock early tomorrow morning as a weak system moves in, giving us a mixture of rain and wet snow across the region. Good news is this is a very quick moving system. It will be out of here by the time we hit 9-10 o'clock Tuesday morning, with very little to no accumulations expected across the region. For the second half of our Tuesday, we will be dry. Widespread cloud cover will remain in place, holding on to those dry conditions just in time for our Wednesday. A lot more in the way of sunshine expected by then. We are in not only for a pretty big shock just because of the sight of snow that we have in the forecast, but also temperature wise. By tomorrow, we're only going to make it up to a high of 44 degrees. That is likely going to occur right around midnight, so temperatures continue to cool throughout our Tuesday. On top of that, we also add in some breezy conditions, so wind chill temperatures throughout the day tomorrow likely going to be stuck in the mid to low 30s. The good news is we do have a warming trend that we will begin to kick off by Wednesday. We're right back above average by Thursday. Friday, high temperatures approaching the 70-degree mark, but it will come along with the chance for a few showers and potentially strong to severe thunderstorms. The Storm Prediction Center currently has us in a 15% chance for strong to severe storms. That essentially equates to a level 2 out of 5 risk, and that extends all the way from mid-Michigan down to our southwest through Oklahoma and into parts of Texas. So a very large area that we have to watch, and this system's still several days away. So a lot is going to be changing in terms of the forecast between now and then. So of course, be sure to stay tuned for updates. We have widespread sunshine this afternoon over here in the city of Lansing. Temperatures a very beautiful 65 degrees. Winds are slightly breezy out of the west-southwest at 16 miles per hour. Similar situation in Grand Ledge. We're at 64, that peak wind gusts of 29 miles per hour. Cloud cover is just slightly heavier the further south that you go, but overall still partly sunny over in Jackson. We're at 66 degrees, winds gusting as high as 31 this morning. and a similar situation in Hillsdale. Temperatures also sitting in the mid-60s. Again, we will begin to cool as we go throughout the rest of the day, but breezy conditions will remain in place. Gusts between 25-35 miles per hour throughout the rest of our Monday, probably as high as 40 miles per hour just in time for our Tuesday, with that rain and snow mix occurring mainly in the morning. We have mostly sunny conditions in the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday, with high temperatures in the low 50s to low 60s. Again, a warming trend just in time for our Friday, but it is going to come along with the chance for precipitation. Good news is we will kick that out for at least part of the weekend.
All right, Kendall, sounds good.
Yeah.